NASCAR racing from Texas is on NBC later today. Xfinity Series. That race begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Race 2 in the round of 8. Coverage starting at 1 p.m. '47 of A.J. Allmendinger, I think, has impressed this weekend. It looks as though it's momentum. He's coming off a couple good finishes that have A.J. Allmendinger smiling when he gets out of the car now.
Yeah, I mean he has an 8th at Kansas, 10th at Talladega, 10th at Martinsville. That 10th at Martinsville is really unfair because that whole pit cycle, he ran out of gas. He had to pit when the pit road was closed. That penalty hurt him. He was running inside the top 5.
He was leading the
most
race
of the day.
Yeah.
I think he had a top 3 car. Whether he could have kept up with Jimmy Johnson at the end wasn't really the point. It would have been great to see if he could have. He deserved the opportunity to race with him, but circumstances just kind of eliminated that opportunity.
Yeah, you tie that in with Austin Dillon on the pole, doing what they've done the latter part of the year. Then the 13 car, he's running well. All this RCR stuff is starting to show some better performance, and these teams that get help from RCR, the 47 and 13, is showing up with them as well.
Marty.
And look at the different kinds of racetracks they keep bringing speed to. So again, second fastest that you see on the top of your screen right now in this practice session for A.J. Allmendinger. Checked in with Ernie Cope, the competition director at JTG Darty Racing, and he said, we have really good short run speed. I'm a little worried about a long run speed, so they've been working the back half of this practice trying to build in some later speed in the run. But again, this team's doing a terrific job of getting better each week and showing some strong performance here late in the season.
And you mentioned it, Rick, yesterday when he was being interviewed after qualifying. Perhaps, in my mind, that's more important than the finishes. Because A.J. Allmendinger looked like he was having a good time.
Right.
He was smiling. And listen, I don't really care that everybody is having a good time. It's not supposed to be fun and games. But you have to enjoy what you do to try to compete at this level. And I don't think A.J. was enjoying it earlier this year. And now it seems like he's excited to be at the racetrack, looking forward to trying to make his car better, looking forward to the battle that's going to be Sunday afternoon, 500 miles around here in Texas.
Jeff, there's no driver on this racetrack that doesn't want to have a good, fast car and be competitive. And so A.J. Allmendinger in the middle of the year didn't feel like they were competitive. He felt like he was going out there with a car that just couldn't compete. And now it seems as though he's got a big smile on his face because he feels like I can go out there and run with everybody on this racetrack.
Well, I think you have to have reasonable expectations as well. I think that, listen, every team down there believes that they can be the guy, right? But how are you as a single car team going to compete with Hendrick? How are you going to compete with Gibbs? That's the challenge for these guys. That's why they've aligned themselves with RCR. So when you're going through those struggles, you're not going from the fastest car to the 10th fastest car. You're going from the 10th fastest car at your best to the 25th fastest car. And that 25th fastest thing is no fun whatsoever. So, it's part of growing a smaller team. This team continues to get better. We saw them win a race a couple years ago. It's a continued improvement, and that's the direction they're heading in. But the journey is difficult. It's not going to be easy to knock over Hendrick, to knock over Gibbs. It is a journey.
You mentioned a single car team. How about the 5th or the 78 of Martin Truex Jr.? In the spring, Martin Truex Jr. out in front, looking like it was his race to win. And then it was pit strategy that came into play. Martin Truex Jr. came to pit road earlier than everyone else. And then in the end, that decision to not come to pit road late allowed the 18 to get by and get the win.
And we're going to see those same decisions tomorrow afternoon. Tires are so valuable that the crew chiefs are going to have to manage them. I'm not sure they're going to be able to put them on every caution, but that seems to be the only thing that's been able to derail this 78 at the mile-and-a-half tracks. Have been mistakes. I mean, look, led over double the next closest competitor, Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick, and Matt Kenseth. Those are 3 impressive names below Martin Truex Jr., 3 former champions. And Martin Truex Jr. has just dominated them at the 1.5 mile tracks.
And Martin Truex Jr. would have been in the round of 8 if it wouldn't have been for an engine expiring at Talladega, and he does not advance into this round of 8, so his championship hopes diminished. But still going out and wanting to end the season on a high note. Their goal is still to finish 5th in the points now. Their 4 will be determined at the championship 4 in Miami, but that 5th in the point standings, still a very sought-after position for all of these drivers that were in the chase. They want to be the best of the guys who didn't make it into the championship four.
2 years in a row, this team brought really good speed. They, obviously they were eliminated, but still, we talked about teams growing and getting better. There's no question this team is growing and getting better. So they can keep building and hopefully keep learning to be able to apply it to an ultimate championship.
Well, you mentioned growing. It'll be growing because it'll be times too. They'll have to manage the two-car situation with Eric Jones joining. We know he's fast as a driver in the Xfinity Series. It'll be interesting to see how it all works for them next year when they double from a 1 to a 2-car team.
You see the 18 car, he'd come down pit road, stop in a pit stall, left, make sure that everything worked, RPMs worked, attack worked, all that stuff worked so that he could maximize pit road speed.
And that's what he's practicing now. Plenty more NASCAR coverage from Texas today. Later on, NBCSN at 1:30 p.m. at Sprint Cup Series. It has their final practice before Sunday's race. Then on NBC at 3:30, it'll be Xfinity Series racing from Texas. Up next on CNBC, Xfinity Series qualifying with Dave Burns, Kyle Petty, and Dale Jarrett.